there, fellow YouTubers and model builders alike. This is your old friend Commodore Urban, and sorry about the last couple of days of not uploading anything. It's, you know, like I said, it was Titanic week and everything, and with Titanic week I kind of was doing a few things, and I was planning on doing this video, but I was really busy, and so I'm going to do it now. And just a few days ago, actually on the 14th of April, weird thing, I finished up my large scale model of the ship, and so now I'm going to do a review on it. And so I'm going to give you the review on the 1/350 scale model kit Deluxe Edition of the RMS Titanic by Minicraft Models. Now the version I got was produced around This model I got was produced around mid-2000, and the box that this model came, actually 2005 says on the box. The model which comes in the box comes in this really big fucking box, if you can see it. Really big, tall fucking box. And on it says, it says Deluxe Edition 1/350 scale model kit Titanic, the world's largest liner White Star Line. And it's got this humongous picture, if you can see it. I might do it like this. If you can see it really well, it's got this humongous portrait of Titanic on there, and it says, the largest and finest model available, the most detailed and accurate, photo-etched brass parts for superb detail, the modeler's choice. And on the side of the box, it shows the completed model, and on the ends, it basically just tells you a little bit more. Like, one of the things it tells you, it says the largest, most accurate and detailed model available, includes beautifully detailed scaled photo-etched brass parts, and it's licensed by the Titanic Historical Society Incorporated, and it's scale level 3, and it says Minicraft model kits, legends in the making. And as you can see on this side, it shows it there, and it tells a little bit about the history of the Titanic, which I'm not going to read that because everybody knows the history of the Titanic, because she is, after all, the most fucking famous ship in the world. And I will show you a few things. I've got here like this bag of miscellaneous pieces and extra parts that I didn't need. I got this thing of plastic railing, which I didn't have to use. I used the brass railing on the kit. And I have the instruction book. When I say instruction book, they really mean instruction book. And it's literally a fucking book. See? And it's all these diagrams of how to put the model together. It was 61 steps together, and with both the front and back covers, this was 39 pages, 40-page long booklet. And it came with a secondary booklet, which is a painting and brass detail application guide, which shows you pictures of the ship. On the front it says Pantone color matches by Ken Marshall, which means these colors were done by Ken Marshall to match the paintings that he's done of the ship. And on the inside of it is basically a guide that shows you how to install the brass railing and stuff on the ship. Basic stuff like that. And now, this actually isn't this Minicraft model version of this kit wasn't brand new, because originally Intex Models in the 1970s produced the kit. And later on, several other companies also produced it, including Revell, and also Academy Models also produced it for a time or two as well. But Minicraft Models had the dies and molds at one point in time, made an early version of it, and then they sold the dies and molds off. Then they got the dies and molds back again, and then they redone them and remade a few things here and there and made more details and made the model I'm about ready to show you. But before I show you the model itself, I'm going to show you the model's base. Now, unlike other model kits which have a more ornate decorative base like the Lusitania model that I showed you in my inbox model review of the Lusitania, the Titanic originally did have that same base when it was offered by Intex Models, but sometime or whatever afterwards, during when Minicraft Models made it, they made this other base, which is a big chunk of black plastic, which looked like a piece of shit. But if you're like me and you love to create and be detailed, you can actually make this base quite nice. I did flat black trim, I did gloss black inside, and I did gold trimming. And I even took that little brass plate and some decals and put it in the corner there. And I even highlighted the lettering on the plate that says RMS Titanic, and highlighted the stanchions which hold up the model. As you can see, this here is a better looking display stand than what would have been originally. And now I'm going to show you the final product from which this model was built from. And right here she is. She's actually one of the largest models in my collection. Well, largest plastic kit in my collection. As you can see, there is a lot of detail in this ship. Let me get an up close view on her so you can see. There really is a lot of detail with this ship, especially if I get up really close. You can really see the detail. And Minicraft models did an excellent job of getting all these little tiny niches and details done on the ship. Unlike a lot of other kits that are produced of the Titanic, the Minicraft models version of the ship, the big scale model, is actually quite a really nice change. And I think it's a really superb model. Even though I had to do some modifications and stuff to it, I did some changes, some modifications, and a little bit here and there I changed things up to make it more prototypically correct. The overall kit itself, I would give it a 10. Because, like I said, it is one of the biggest and most detailed kits out there available. Unless you buy the 1/200 scale paper card kit, and that thing's a fucking nightmare. And I have it, and I looked at it, and I'm thinking it's going to take a goddamn brain surgeon to put that together. But, like I normally do with all my other model reviews, I review them by different things. The painting of it, how long it takes to paint. The paintability of it, the ability to be able to build it, and finally their overall effect. Well, as for painting, I will give the model a solid 5 because there have been some instances where some parts are really hard to paint. And I'll tell you right now what was really hard to paint, and that was the main part of the hull. From here to about the B-deck level, this whole hull piece, this was one single piece, and it was molded in black plastic. Now, it wasn't too bad when you painted this part, but once you painted the white portion that's here, and the red portion down below the waterline, the boot top, that was a pain in the fucking ass. Now, other parts such as the deck pieces, like the actual pieces on the deck, those were molded in a real light tan color, so painting it with a flat tan for the wood, that wasn't a big deal, but painting other colors such as white, like for the superstructural parts of the ship, and just other things like that, it became a little bit more of a messy challenge. And then finally, just you know, with as much stuff there is to paint, it ain't like a normal model kit. It is a Deluxe Edition model kit, so it's got more to it. So if there's more to it, more detail, so there's more detail you gotta paint. And so it took me hours upon hours of painting all the windows, because if you look very carefully, even inside the boat deck, underneath in the A deck area, and on the boat deck, all them windows and stuff, you see the brown window frames and stuff? I painted all that on there by hand. I painted all those window frames in by hand. So it was a pain in the ass. Now, as for the putability together, the assembling of the model, I would give it maybe a 4 because it's a little bit harder model to assemble just because it's got so many fucking pieces. Just because, like I said, it's a Deluxe Edition and it's a scale model kit. And so there's going to be more pieces than an average model kit. Let's say like the SS United States I showed you in the inbox model review has 41 pieces. This model has over 100 plus pieces. How many for sure? I don't really fucking know. And they say it's decently put together. No, there were some parts of it that were really hard to put together, especially when you put the top part of the ship, which would be A deck and up, onto the main part of the hull. I had to literally buy Gorilla Super Glue to keep that fucking part of the ship down, because without it, it wanted to hump itself up and stay up. So I had to get the strongest glue you can buy, the strongest super glue you can buy, just to be able to do that. And so yeah, there were some parts of it that really were hard to put together. There were a lot of it that were really hard to put together. And also another thing that was hard to do was the rigging, because it showed you how to do the rigging, which I am so glad that I've got the talent and the skill to be able to do the rigging, because you know, there's a lot of model builders that build these models and don't do the rigging because it's really too fucking hard, and I don't really blame them because it really is fucking hard. It was fucking hard for me. And another thing that really was hard was the ladders, because the ladders are not pre-formed or anything. They're in these long pieces where you have to cut them, you have to heat them and bend them, and that was a fucking nightmare. I actually ruined a set of ladders just because I did different techniques to heat the plastic up, and I fucked them up, and so I had to call the company and say, hey, I need another set of ladders because I fucked this set up. And they were real nice enough, and the guy actually told me, oh, you can do this and this. If you need to heat it up and not destroy it, here's what you can do. And I tried, and sure enough, he was right. So I was able to do that, and I got the ladders installed and on the fronts of the funnels and got them painted and stuff. And the overall look of the ship, like I said, if you look at this model here, this is what I would imagine Titanic to look if you go back in time to 1912 and actually take a time machine and go back in time. This is what you would have saw, but in a large scale. Basically, I took a shrink ray to her and shrunk her down and brought her to the 21st century. So yeah. But my overall thing, like I said earlier about the kit, I'll give it a 10. Just even though the painting of it is a bit of a challenge, and putting it together is definitely a real bitch. But the model itself overall, once it's fully complete 100%, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful piece to add to your collection. And if you really love the Titanic, it's definitely a piece you really would love to have. And so, yeah, that's why I give the model an overall 10. And I have to say, Minicraft models, they've done a really good job with this model. And I've actually heard rumor, and I've actually seen on a website they're making a 350 scale model of her sister, the Olympic. And I hope they definitely do, because if they do, I'm definitely going to get it. Because I got Titanic, I got to get a 350 scale Olympic. Because even though I have the 700 scale Olympic by Revell, but I want a scale model of Olympic the same size as Titanic, so I can put them together, both side by side. That'd be really cool as fuck. So I hope you enjoyed my review, and if you did, please leave a like. And if you got any questions or comments, leave them down below. And if you like my channel, subscribe. Until next time, this is your old friend Tommy Morgan saying, have smooth seas and clear skies, and happy sailing.